Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm reading for Leo energy, but the way I'm doing this set of readings is kind of like, I'm going to call it a 12-step program where you can get something from each sign. It's like what each sign can teach us about healing from within. So if you want to go and check out each sign, you can do. I definitely recommend that. But if you don't have that much time and you just want to kind of cherry pick a few videos, I would say definitely check out your sun sign, which I assume most of you here are sun sign Leo. Hello. But also your moon sign, which is going to tell you about things that you fear, you know, the parts of yourself that you keep hidden, kind of the you that's behind closed doors. So maybe go and check out your moon placement. Also maybe have a look at your Mercury placement, which is to do with how you interact with other people, how you socialize, how you communicate. Your Venus placement is how you love, what makes you passionate, what makes you feel those kind of yummy feelings. And your Mars placement is kind of about like passion and drive and ambition and what motivates you and what angers you as well. So if you're interested in any of those topics, go and check out your birth chart and your placements. So Moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus are the ones I recommend. If you don't know what they are, there is a link down below in the description box that will take you to a free birth chart service where you can look up all your individual placements. There's quite a lot of information there. So if you just want to kind of like look at those placements that I've mentioned, I think that's a really good place to start. Okay, so with that said and done, we have this guy on the table today, which is very appropriate because we just have had Easter. I really want to emphasize though that everybody's welcome to my readings. It's not any specific religion that's like coming through here, so whatever this energy represents for you, right, everybody's welcome. I was kind of seeing this deck on Easter Sunday. I was seeing this deck in my mind's eye, like this, just like imagine shutting your eyes and an image pops into your head, and it was this deck, and I was specifically seeing this card, and I was thinking to myself, like, maybe I should do a set of readings about healing, like what we can heal in terms of our own soul, or our inner self. If we disconnect from the rest of the world, what work can we do internally ourselves to make us grow and develop and be stronger as a person? So I finally got home and I kind of got this deck out and I shuffled it. One card popped out and it was indeed this card. So it was like confirmation for me that this is the right set of readings to do. So Leos, the question is, what do you need to heal? What do you need to do that? And we're going to get some advice as well. Intuitively, I've got some messages about some of you potentially having some guilt or regret about the way that you've acted or the way that you've handled yourselves in the past. So it could be like you've grown as a person already and you look back and you think, gosh, I wish I'd handled that differently. I feel like I was the bad person in that situation. Things like this. So a couple of things that's telling me this. Your song that randomized was Confessions by Usher. Confessions Part 2. So it's like, just when I thought I've said all I have to say, something else happens. So I feel this energy of like trying to put your past behind you, or trying to distance yourself with perhaps some mistakes of the past, like who you used to be, right? It's like you're no longer that person, but the past keeps haunting you. It's like those mistakes keep coming back and like coming back up. So for some of you, it's like, I'm getting really specifically, it's not going to be for everybody. It's like, that You've Seen Me Naked song by Phineas. It's like, I can't believe you've seen me naked. Like what, maybe like you sent somebody nude pictures, or like you filmed some stuff with them and they've got the footage and you're like, oh, I really hope that doesn't come back to haunt me, that kind of thing. Or even like texts, or messages you've sent, or conversations you've had where perhaps you I do it all the time. I think it's like the doom of being an air sign, especially with the Gemini moon, is like, I will argue any side of an argument. I will argue the good side, I will argue the bad side. And with that, like being a Libra, it's like playing devil's advocate all the time. So I know that I've definitely said things that would be really controversial if they were taken out of context. And like, just because I can understand someone else's point of view doesn't mean I share that opinion. So I think there's some danger in that as well. So I think like this idea of like, oh my goodness, what if that comes back to haunt me? What if, you know, what if that person says this? What if, you know, I'm getting that kind of energy for some of you. Not all of you, we'll see. Some of you could have been to confession with that song, Confessions. You may want to get something off your chest. It may actually really help you to confide in someone with, you know, the stuff that maybe you feel like, I don't feel like I was a good person in that situation. I kind of feel like I need to talk to somebody about it. I can't, you know, keeping a secret is really hurting me, that kind of thing. Not for all of you. A slight different angle on this. I've been out for a big walk today, and as I was walking home, I like kind of looked up into the sky, and over my head was this big crow, like a big crow flying. But the amazing thing about it was that I could see right through its wings. It's like its wings had like so many feathers plucked out, and it was just full of holes. It was almost like it had been shot with like a pellet gun or something. It hadn't, right? I think when crows are mating, they do kind of get into little fights where they pull out each other's feathers. It's a bit mean, but it's like this crow. The thing was, this crow was still flying, and I was like, how? With so many holes in its wings, it's like, how is it possibly still flying? But it was. And now crows to me do sometimes represent like the shadow self, you know, the part, again, the parts of yourself that you know, you have a lot of guilt, or like, you, the kind of bad version of yourself, you know, the worst version of yourself. It can sometimes talk about that, and also kind of spirituality and things like this. So the crow came with the message of even though you've been through it, even though you've had difficult times, even though you've really got through that kind of wounded warrior energy, you know, maybe you've had to do things that you're not proud of, you know, because you've been in bad situations, all these kinds of things. It's like, but you can still fly, Leo. You can still fly, right? You're bruised, you're battered, you can still fly. That's kind of the message that's coming through for you. So it also came through with the song Don't Cry by Daisy Gray. That's the song that was playing when I noticed this crow, and she says, you know, I'm gonna have to pull the lyrics up. But I know that song came through for somebody else, but I can't remember who it came through for. So I feel like there's a connection between that reading and this reading. Don't Cry, Daisy Gray. It may have been the Tell Me Anything reading. I can't quite remember. It was one of the randomized songs that I pulled after the reading and put in the description box. I've got baggage I carry that you'll never find. I've been hardened like diamonds that money can't buy, but I don't cry no more. Big girls don't cry no more. I'm pro crying. I think having a good cry actually relieves a lot of tension and stress. I've been so low I can't even get up. Don't act like you know me, because I've had a year about as dark as the shadows that followed me here, so don't try me. Broke down, now I'm higher. I've got holes in my jeans, I've got dirt on my soul, I've got people who around me who want me to fold. My circle is narrow, my conscience is clean. You can love me or hate me, there's no in between, right? So it's like, you know, she is a fighter. In that song, she's fighting, you know, she's still going. And it's like that kind of energy of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, you learn how strong you are when you go through the darkest moments, and in the darkest moments you feel weak, and it's okay to be weak, right? It's okay to fall down. It's okay to give up on things. It's okay to, you know, make the wrong choice, as long as you learn and you grow from it. So I don't know what we're going to get for you, Leo. Oh, okay, quite a bit apparently. I can't take this many cards. We're going to go again, but you've got Daughter Romance, All Tied Up, The Thinking Man, and the 7th Chakra Archangel Uriel. Actually, do you know what? I'm actually getting something from this. We're going to keep them. Adjacent possibilities. Okay, so your shadow. It's like wanting to open up, wanting to let people in, wanting people to get close, wanting to make those connections, but feeling like your hands are tied, feeling like you're not able. It's like it's not your choice, is the energy that is coming through with that. So there's this desire, this desire to have these romantic connections, or have this, even like the old-fashioned term of romance, like in kind of like the olden times, a romance meant like an adventure, like you know, like a journey and experience. That was what the old meaning of romance. So wanting to have these experiences, but feeling like your heart is locked away, feeling like you're almost like Rapunzel trapped in a tower, right? But then it gives you time to think. And Leos, you do tend to be thinkers, and you do tend to have a little bit of a dark underlying aspect of your nature. You know, sometimes Leos can get really, really deep. So the thinking man and the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. So it's like when you physically can't move, when you physically can't have what you want. I'm getting like claws, like lion claws. Like when you can't physically, yeah, I'm really getting like a lion, like, you know, like how a lion jumps on something and claws it into it. It's like when you can't have something that you want, when you can't trap something that you want, right? Maybe it's like other people that you want to keep close, but, you know, you realize that you can't, you know, you can't wrap them in cotton wool. You can't tie them up and put them in a cupboard and keep them there and keep them trapped. It's like you have to let them be free. So flip it and reverse it as needs be. But then this higher self coming through, this higher, it's like, because the thinking man is like mental, like mental ability, mental capacity. It's like all to do with the head and the brain. And then you've got this, the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel, which is the crown chakra, right? So it's like almost like when you're trapped, when you can't move, when you can't have what you want, then your brain's like it provokes your brain. It creates it's like a problem to solve. So it activates your brain, which in turn activates your crown chakra. So it's like you may receive messages through meditation or your dream space, or just that process of overthinking actually almost like gets the cogs moving for you. So it's kind of giving me one of my favorite quotes, which is from Hamlet, and it's I could be bounded in a nutshell, but call myself the king of infinite space. Were it not that I have bad dreams. So some of you may have bad dreams. I had like 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I was like, what on earth was I just dreaming about? It's one of those where you can only kind of remember little bits of it. And I was like, that was an odd dream. That's a really strange dream. So yeah, it's like something about his feather in his cap as well. Feather in his cap. It's like your thoughts can take flight. You know, another Hamlet quote, my words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Thoughts without words never to heaven go. I may have mixed it up, but my words fly up. Yeah, my words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. So something about being trapped, even like trapped in your own body, like your soul being trapped in mortal form on the earth, but your ability to transcend that through your thoughts, through your meditative experiences. Some of you may actually work with crystals, and you may find this really helpful. In fact, I was meditating yesterday with sodalite. Sodalite's quite a good crystal. Sorry, that's not my sodalite, that's my sodalite. They may both be, actually. I think they're both sodalite. But yeah, sodalite and amethyst are really good for opening up like the 3rd eye, which is the 6th chakra, and the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra. So they can help with dreams and meditation practices. Okay. So just to say as well, take gender out of it. So even though it says the thinking man, it doesn't have to mean that you're a man. You could be thinking about a man. You could have kind of like, I'm getting a lot of interesting quotes for you. I'm getting like Queen Elizabeth I, when she was speaking to the troops, Tilbury, I think it was. She said, I may have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and the stomach of a king, and a king of England too. It's like you've got that kind of stereotypical like man's brain, right? The stoic kind of, you may have Aquarius placements, kind of like the analytical brain. Yeah, so really cool. Definitely this thing about her head as well. So I feel like for some of you, there's something that restricts your ability to, I don't know if some of you are astrally projecting or something like that, but like there's something that restricts your ability to think clearly or to have that higher awareness, that higher perspective, because there's this trapping energy over here. Okay, let's get some clarifiers on this. Daughter Romance for Leo, please. Daughter Romance. Actually, Daughter Romance and All Tied Up for Leo. Thank you. Quite a few there. Yeah, there's something going on with your head. Oh, 2 5s. Oh, you've got 3 really fecking tricky cards here. I did pick this deck because it has crows in it, by the way. Just because I was like, the crows have these messages. So there's definitely this feeling of like being, see how the cards are like jumping out of my hand as well. It's like not being able to hold on to something. There's just definitely this feeling of being like tied up or trapped. It's like almost like, it's either you want to keep hold of something, like you want to keep something close. So it's almost like you want to lock it away. You want to trap it. You want to keep it, almost like keep it safe and keep it yours. Or the reverse, and recognizing that you can't, right? Or the reverse of that, which is you feel trapped. You feel like, you know, the door is closed to you. You feel trapped. You feel like you can't escape. You feel like you're all tied up in a situation. So the thing is with this card, if she looks up you know, 2 of these cards actually, if she just raises her head and looks around, she'll see that the key to the door is actually here. She can let herself out. She can unlock that door herself. You know, the Daughter Romance in this case. And right here as well, the key is right here. So it's like somebody's heart is locked away, but like the answer is already right next to them. It's possibly something to do with the perception with all this mental energy here. So moving on from that, we have this poor King of Cups, which I feel could be you. Again, it could be somebody that you're connected with, but again, he's kind of, it's almost like he's in meditation. He's got these really deep emotions. He's very in touch with his emotions. He knows what he feels and why he feels it, and he's okay with it, right? He's come to terms with whatever it is he's feeling. He doesn't have a key around his neck, but I almost feel like the way I'm reading it, it's like he's got this key around his neck. Because sometimes I see things on the card that aren't there because it's an intuitive message. So it's like he has the key. And yeah, it's like he's surrounded by all these negative thoughts about deception or negative thoughts about conflict. So emotionally really good. Emotionally knows what he wants or knows what he feels. But mentally, there's a lot going on mentally. And it's like, because the crows can symbolize like spirit messages as well. So it's almost like somebody who perhaps is very good at meditating. They are very good at, they're very good at opening up that kind of window in the mind, right? And allowing these intuitive messages to come through. But when they do, I feel like the messages aren't necessarily coming through clearly, or they're conflicting, or they're overwhelming. It's like there's something wrong. There's some kind of like red flag in the energy where hold on a second. It's almost like he's pushing back. Again, it's almost like he's something that he's doing in meditation is shining a light on deception and pushing back, right? Can you see how the King of Cups is kind of blue coloured, and the 2 cards about swords either side, which are thoughts, swords are thoughts, on either side, it's almost like they're that kind of like greeny colour, and his heart's kind of like radiating. So it's almost like something that King of Cups is doing is pushing back the negative thoughts. So it could talk about how when you feel overwhelmed by your negative thoughts, when you get too much into your own head, and your thoughts become confusing or dark, it's like go back into meditation, because when you meditate, you know, it pushes back that energy. It's like, and he does it with love. It's like his love holds back the negativity. And there's this thing as well about it shining a light. It's something about his heart radiating, right? The light from his heart, the light from his soul radiating out, just like this card here. It's like unlocking that heart space. Actually, because this is what I do in meditation as well. So when I do meditation, I visualize your soul being like a diamond, right? Like, and it's in your heart space. This is what I visualize. And then there's a light inside it, and you can shine that light. You can grow your energy. It's interesting to me to hear other people talk about this. I've been talking about Jim Carrey a lot. I'm going through a bit of a phase. You know, like when you watch one video and then 10 more appear. So I've gone down like a Jim Carrey rabbit hole. And he went through this really, he's not a Leo. I think he's Capricorn. But he's got a Gemini moon, and I've got a Gemini moon. I think this is why I'm relating to it. But he went through this really nihilistic phase where he got really jaded and really quite depressed. And he was in an interview recently about the Sonic movie, and he's talking about music in it. And he's saying how he listens to, like, I think it's like Greek choral, old-fashioned monastery music or something like this. I can't remember exactly what he said. And he said he'll go out with his cup of coffee in the morning and stand in the garden, and it's like his energy expands, like through the music, through the vibrations of the music. He feels his energy expand, and like suddenly he is the birds in the trees, like suddenly he is, you know, part of nature. His energy fills the whole yard, he said. And I feel like that's what I feel when I meditate. It's like my energy expands, and I can, for me, it's like being like a tree, right? The roots of the tree go down into the earth, like an energetic tree. And like my branches of the tree, like the trunk runs through my body, and then the branches go up to the sky. And it's like I can expand that energy out. And it's protective. So you can expand almost like your aura out to push back against anything that's negative. It came through visually, again, during meditation. I had this visual of like going down into the dark, thorny roots of a tree network. It was a long-winded, very long-winded meditation. I'm not going to explain it all, but this moment of like going down into the roots of the tree, and I was almost seeing this person who was getting like suffocated or entangled by the roots of these trees. So through my meditation, I did this exact thing. I blasted out that energy, right? I gathered the energy and blasted it out, almost like in Harry Potter. You know when they're in, is it called the Devil's Snare? When in the first video, in the first film, sorry, of Harry Potter, they kind of fall through into the Devil's Snare. It's like all these tangled like vines and roots, and they have to relax to fall through it. Or they can use the is it luminosa? There's a spell anyway where like they cast a light and it kind of pushes back thorns. So it's like that light from the soul pushing back the darkness is how it's coming through. It's like as soon as you do that, like the roots go back. Yeah, the meditation got really cool. I was like lifting up this entire forest. Then it was like fucking Shang-Chi, is it called Shang-Chi? The superhero movie with the rings. Again, this thing about rings. There could be something about gold rings for you. Just with me mentioning Sonic and Shang-Chi, like they both have gold rings. So I'm sorry, I am super all over the place. It's because I've been for a walk today, and I've been for a walk in the trees, and I meditate as I do it. So then I get about 1 million intuitive messages. So I'm going to be a bit scatty today. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, and then yeah, it was like the whole forest. It had this energy of like, again, Macbeth. You're getting a lot of Shakespeare. When Birnam Wood comes to Dunsiblane, is he called? When Birnam Wood comes to Dunsiblane. So I don't know if you've had some kind of prophecy. And it's like, that can never happen. It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay, another message is coming through. It's impossible to relocate an entire forest. It's like, how are we going to, I don't think it's a forest, I think it's a place. It could be like a workplace or a home or a community. How do we lift this entire place up like by the roots and transport it to a different place? Like that forest could never go to Dunsiblane, but it does, right? It does. And like in Lord of the Rings as well, you know, the trees come to life and they walk, you know, they walk to a different place. So it's like something about uprooting, but it's like uprooting something on a massive scale and relocating it or transporting it, and it feels like it's impossible. but the message here is it is possible. That's a lot. I'm sorry, Leo, I don't know why your reading's like this. Okay, I'm gonna try and get back down to the ground, but it's like you're not tangled. You're not tangled in the devil's snare. It's like you're not tangled in the devil's snare. It's just a perception. And this energy, whether this is you or somebody outside of you, is pushing back those dark thoughts. It's pushing back those shadows, right? It's the light of your soul, Leo, I want to say, pushes back the shadows. So the thinking man and the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. I'm getting it again. I could be bounded in a nutshell, but call myself a king of infinite space. If it were not that I had the bad dreams. So why? The dream that I had last night, somebody had to go down into like a forest area, and there was kind of like a supernatural animal down there. But this person who was going down into the dark forest, it was like, but I have to go and meet it. I have to go and meet it's almost like I have to go and meet my fear head on. I have to go and understand this creature better. Because it's like everybody else was running away, and this person was, I mean, they were afraid, but it was almost like a premonition. It was almost like like they knew what they had to do. The thinking man in the 7th chakra, 4 of Pentacles. You have some kind of knowledge, Leo. Can you see he's holding this crystal and she's holding this book. You have some kind of knowledge, and you're keeping it very close to your chest. You're protecting it. It's almost like a secret, or like secret knowledge, and you're protecting it. You're guarding it. You're saving it from whatever this is. So a community around you, a different place. It's like there's something about this place. It's almost like she's Macbeth or Lady Macbeth, and this is, I know it's houses, but it's like this place that seems far away, and yet it's coming closer. And you can see she's got her head wrapped again. So it's almost like the thoughts, something about the thoughts or the intuitive messages that come in. And can you see he's wearing the feather in his hat? And yet she's got her head covered. So it's like, it's almost like this covering is either like, almost like a tinfoil hat, like either trapping some information inside, or preventing her thoughts from escaping, or preventing the messages from coming in. But then there's something going on with, there's definitely something about head coverings. Or headaches, or you see this crow's like pecking his head. It's like this crow's pecking his head. So then he's took the crow and he's plucked it, and he's wearing a hat now. It's almost like a vengeance thing, like, you bothered me, so now, like, I've took your feathers and I'm going to wear you. It seems like that. Now he's coming through to me like a Macbeth character. I don't know why I'm getting like a vengeance thing. You see, he's like got this sword. It's like he's harvesting feathers from the crows. Again, I'm not saying this is you, Leo. It could be somebody that you're dealing with, or like something from your past. It's like you caused me trouble, you gave me a headache, so I've took something from you now. You see he's got his head covered again. But then the thing is, like, the person who was done wrong, and I want to say, again, I don't know who you are in this. It's like the person who was done wrong were these crows. It's almost like this crow's actually raising the alarm, right? The bad guy's here, he's hurting us, he's plucking our feathers. He's doing it sneakily, but this light is shining on him. So there's been some kind of deception. Somebody's been deceptive. And somebody's caused harm to whatever these crows are representing. And they've benefited from the feathers that they've plucked from these crows. I know it's coming through strange. I'm trying to, like, it's hard to kind of ground it into, I hope it's making sense to you. It's like Macbeth, right? It's like Macbeth. Macbeth gets the power by doing something bad. He does something wrong. This thing about, like, the three witches of Macbeth, and you know the witches where it's like they have an eye between them and they pass the eye to each other. It's like the three witches, the fates, right? The fates, and they've got one tooth and one eye, and they pass it between them. I had that as well in this vision. So it's like, something about. This is a weird reading. I don't know if it's for you, Leo, or if it's just some kind of strange reading that's come through. It's something like Macbeth, where he goes and he sees the witches, right? And he gets this prophecy. And then, like, Lady Macbeth kind of... It's almost like Lady Macbeth perhaps is the crow, or the witches are the crow. Like, they put this idea in his head about who he's meant to be, or what success is. You know, and then he does things that are bad in order to gain that success. And then this almost feels like the fulfillment of the prophecy. Like, you know, you thought, almost like a 3-stage prophecy. Again, maybe like Harry Potter or something. You know, this is like the prophecy thing. It's like, okay, so, you know, Macbeth will sleep no more. They do these things and they gain this success, and yet they can't enjoy it because they've always got the fear of retaliation. They've always got the fear of people finding out what they've done, which, again, I was talking about that at the start of the reading. And it's like they thought they were fine because the end of the prophecy was, you'll be fine until, like, Burnham Wood comes to Dunsinane. But then it does, right? That's the thing in Macbeth, it does, or it appears to. So it's almost like waiting for the completion of the prophecy, waiting for the fate to come in. And this is what you have to heal. If this is your reading, which is a big one. This is probably the most dramatic fucking reading that I've done. He does look very Shakespearean as well. Okay. It's like knowing you can't escape it. It's like knowing that you have to face up to the wrongs that you've done, knowing that it's going to come out eventually, knowing that, you know, you can try and silence people, but, you know, your fate is still your fate, and karma is still karma, and sooner or later it's going to catch up with you. I don't want to scare you, Leo. Again, we're talking about healing your soul. So, how do we heal Leo's soul? How do we heal whatever this is in Leo's soul? How do we heal whatever this is in Leo's soul, please? You've got a reversal. Leadership, stag spirit leadership. I followed, again, in this extended meditation, this extended vision that I had during meditation, I actually followed... somebody must just be watching Harry Potter or reading a lot of Shakespeare or something, but I was led into this wood by a stag, very Patronus-like. Spirit guardian of spring and activation. There's that white swan again. Right, okay. So it seems to be, the message here is like, Accept who you are. Don't try and hide it. Accept who you are. Accept what you've done. Grow from it. Learn from it. Be a better person. But it's almost an energy of, if you never own up to it, you're always going to be running from it. So it's better to accept. It's almost like it's, you know, you need to do your time and get it over with, that kind of thing. You know, like if somebody commits a crime, it's like, you know, they're always haunted by it. When are the police going to knock on my door? You know, when is this thing going to come out? When am I going to get caught? And you don't have any sort of life because it's always pecking your head. It's always worrying you that your past is going to catch up with you. Where if you take ownership of it, if you go to the police station and say, I need to confess. Taurus had a reading like this a long time ago. I connected with a Taurus who realized that they'd done something really badly wrong, and it's like it had hit them. Like it's like they'd finally realized what they'd done and how much this had impacted the other person. And I think it's one of my most popular readings, by the way, if you want to go look it up. And they were going to do that. They were going to go and confess. They were going to go and hand themselves in. And it came through with so much ownership of what they'd done. Like so much, it's almost like they'd grown as a person, or like suddenly they'd woken up, they'd had this light bulb moment of, oh my God, I actually understand what I did now. I understand. And the guilt that came with it, and this overwhelming urge to make it right, to put something right, to take accountability and to put it right. And this feels like the need for somebody to take accountability because you're being controlled. If this is your reading, it's like you're being controlled by it, right? The fear of it coming out is controlling you. So it's better to go and take ownership of it and take that power back into your own hands by saying, this is who I am, this is what I did, this is what I, you know, regret, and this is what I've learned from it, and this is how I've grown and changed as a person. It's better than it coming out and you just looking like the bad guy or the bad girl, right? Daffodils are surfacing through the dark, rich soil. Tiny buds are bursting forth on every tree, as a cacophony of birdsong fills the air. Flowers are bursting into bloom, and there is a wild scampering through the forest as creatures large and small revel in the glorious energy of spring. A new cycle has begun again. Do not hesitate. The time is now. Take action. It's okay if you are hesitant or even afraid. Face that fear and do it anyway. There are times to pull back and think carefully before every action, but this isn't one of those times. Forge ahead with courage and certainty. A new beginning awaits you. It's like you need to wipe the slate clean, right? It's almost like doing your time and then coming out with a clean slate, whatever that means to you, right? And it may not be your reading. It's not going to be for everybody. Don't worry. If it's not your reading, it's not your reading. I'm not trying to scare anyone. You might experience some chaos or turmoil, but that's all part of this exciting time of activation. Do not allow upheaval to disrupt your forward trajectory. Be courageous and forthright. Make your decisions swiftly and with confidence, and then act on them with steely resolve. In ancient times, people employed springtime ceremonies to clear out the old and invite in the new. Spring was seen as a time of new life, seeds sprouting, eggs hatching, animals giving birth, and new beginning. Spring also refers to hope, renewal, growth, youth, and love, and ceremonies were done to honour this transition in life. The Spring Guardian of Spring says, get ready, big changes are ahead. Things that have been incubating are now coming to life. That's funny because I got incubating a lot last week. A profound transformation is at hand. Take risks, keep going. Prepare for this time of upheaval, fluctuations, and renewal, and the end will be glorious. So again, with this tree energy, like the forest and the trees. So you're being told to go for the new. I do feel like there's this energy of like going for the new, but the fear of the past catching up with you and spoiling the new. So it's like you're trying to have this blank slate, and you're being encouraged to have this blank slate, or this growth mentality, or this forward thinking. Yeah, your advice, like what you need to do to heal whatever this is just go for the new. It's like just go, go, go and keep going. Knight of Wands, it's like follow your passions, do what makes you passionate, do what makes you enthusiastic. It's like go for it energy. It's like just go for it. Stop overthinking. Don't let those fears like haunt you. Go for it. It's almost like sitting there in a mental prison, looking up, seeing that the key's there, seeing that you can make a break for it, and fecking going. It's like running for the door. So I feel like there could be some kind of opportunity or opening for you, and it's like make a break for it. Just go for it. That seems to be your advice, Leo. Let your passion fuel you. Maybe look up your Mars placement as well. And here's that black horse. So we've got the white swan and the black horse, which the swans and the horses seem to be particularly symbolic at the moment. They keep coming up in readings. So I'm really getting Seer from this, like Seer, and she's kind of like blind. Or like in a different state of seeing. So she's not seeing what's physically in front of her, but seeing what's spiritually in front of her. So you're like Seer or prophet energy. So you're being told to think on your feet. So again, it's like move quickly, move fast, take the opportunity when it comes. There's a lot of like reddy orange energy coming through here. Think on your feet. Okay, are you ready, Leo? I want to say, because there is definitely something coming for you. It's going to get you unstuck. It could be something that you have to fight for, something where there's some competition. Definitely a lot of wands energy. So this is really like, this is fast. This is fast. It's exciting. It's going to challenge you. Yeah, you're going to feel challenged. You're going to feel motivated. But you do have to think fast, right? You do have to be a little bit wily in this. Wily Coyote, they're telling me. Okay, be alert now. So this is your advice. Be alert now, for Fox Spirit has appeared and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw out your creativity as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace and astuteness. Fox Spirit helps you to think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not a time to hesitate, but a time for swift action of the mind, and a time to think outside the box and notice the many ways in which you might make a move. Aware of your surroundings and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co-create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox Spirit, will serve you well. Okay. Feeling trapped. Feeling trapped or feeling rejected. Having some dark thoughts, but your own deep emotions, your own love, that depth of spirit, pushing back the darkness. Having some kind of clear vision or perception of fate or destiny, but there is some fear around it. I kind of want to know a little bit about that fear, but it's almost like, because it's like the fear or the bad thoughts trying to close in on you. It's like, it's like you've had some kind of bad premonition or something, and it's like, don't overthink it. Just do what feels right. Trust your gut on this one. Trust your gut, trust your motivation, trust your quick-wittedness. Like there is some kind of like newness coming in, but it really feels like, it almost feels like the past, whatever that represents for you, is like these like tangled tree roots. It's like it's trying to suffocate you. So it's like you have to break free when you see the chance. I kind of want to get a bit more on that. I don't really know how to. Tell me about this energy that's like, it's almost like brambles or thorns trying to close in. What can I get for this? Let's get the Muse Tarot. Okay. Tell me about the dark thoughts or the brambles, please. Tell me about the dark energy closing in. Thank you. Moon. Yeah, it's your own fears. Look up your moon placement. See what your moon placement is and maybe watch the reading for that as well. Yeah, it could be Scorpio or Aquarius Moon. Scorpios can be quite dark. That's normal for Scorpio. It's kind of like Scorpio's power is to be able to work with that dark energy. in a healthy way, you know. The King of Cups is in the upright. It's like transmuting it, right? Aquarius Moon. Just trying to think what Aquarius Moon would be. I'm actually going to Google it. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm on Astrology Cafe, and there is a link to this site down below in the description box. So it says, if you have a moon in Scorpio, or if you're dealing with someone who has a moon in Scorpio, while others may find security and comfort in material things, moon in Scorpio people seek out emotional intensity. No matter what, there is something very intense about lunar Scorpios. They are diggers when it comes to the world of emotion. They can see beyond facades and cut right to the core of a person. The ability to see what isn't obvious to the rest of the world can be intimidating to others or wildly attractive, depending on the audience. They seek out meaningful experiences. They have a strong fear of betrayal. They seek out commitment and feel the need for a partner to give up something for them. Some will put the people they love through a series of tests, and these are not always conscious. So be wary of that. It is quite a dark, controlling aspect. Their apparent suspicions can be trying for people who love them. However, once committed, Moon in Scorpio people can be the most loyal and protective partners around. They're intelligent and astute as well. So let's scroll to the Moon in Aquarius, for those of you who have that placement. Moon in Aquarius people are extremely observant. They are lifetime students of human nature, loving to analyse why people do what they do. This often stems from a detached, even shy personality, especially in youth. Whether due to character or conditioning, Moon in Aquarius people often grow up feeling different. Although rather sociable, they are loners at heart. Many have strong egos, or at least powerful defense mechanisms, and most lunar Aquarians will do their best to be the most unique and unusual person that they can be. Their inner feeling of loneliness that they don't quite fit in puts them on the outside looking in. They're very idealistic and progressive. They see emotions such as jealousy, possessiveness, and fear as kind of like low. So they tend to see themselves as like above that, kind of a bit stoic. They find messy emotions unappealing. They pride themselves for being cool-headed, detached, and above what they consider baser emotions. They can be adept at understanding others' behaviour and motivations. They have a tendency to be humanitarian. They can seem like they lack compassion, and they often expect other people to be independent and detached like they are. But in close personal relationships, however, lunar Aquarians generally give a lot of others a lot of personal freedom, and they will tolerate and enjoy all kinds of idiosyncrasies in people around them. They can be a little bit unreliable, make good friends. They have a lot of pride. They're very sensitive to criticism. Maddeningly unpredictable, but quite charming. So I don't know if any of you have those placements, but kind of the moon coming out was kind of pointing me to what I was already suspecting over there. But let's read what the moon card has to say. If you don't have those placements, it's fine. It could just be a nod to people who do. Right, illusions. So the dark thorns, it's almost like your own fears. Again, I could be banded in a nutshell and call myself the king of infinite space, were it not that I had bad dreams. Illusions, hidden truths, shadows in the moonlight, facing your fears, obscured knowledge, and the need to trust your intuition, instinct, the things you cannot know at this time, subtle illumination. Prompt, confusing reflections. She is having trouble seeing the paths that lie ahead. Two maidens light the way, yet neither can illuminate what exists beyond the fog of the horizon. Their counsel is to tune into the moon and to trust the inner voice. She squints to see, and the watery surface plays tricks in the dark. The shadows of the shadows cast illusions, and without true clarity she finds herself quieted, afraid, unsure. She takes a deep breath, and the muse of the moon stirs as her light bends and lengthens. Moonchild, there is an ancient wisdom ahead, yet you must meander into my moonlight streams of unconscious trust and allow your intuition to hear the gentle nudges of your knowing. Her voice streams in louder now. Find peace within the shadows, for there is deep magic there. Find deep truth in your own discernment. Sometimes you cannot know until you walk the way. Know that your path will indeed be one of uncertainty at times, and allow your fears to dissipate as the sun peeks over the horizon at dawn. You were written in stardust and folded through time, and the seas of illusion are your mountains to climb. The seas of illusion are your mountains to climb. So there could be some illusion. Perhaps some of you have Pisces placements. So the challenge seems to be like pushing through your fears, going into the unknown, taking steps even when you don't know where it's going to lead you. It does sometimes feel like the fear closes in though, so push that back and follow your passion, follow what motivates you, follow what makes you, what drives you. I do feel like you should probably look up your Mars placement for more help on that. All right, I hope this was helpful to you, Leos. You always have very challenging readings. I'm picking up on that darkness quite a lot in your readings. I think for a lot of you, it's mental. It could be like mental health, anxieties and depression and things like this. There's definitely a darkness that comes along with your energy at the moment a lot. So keep pushing back at that. Let your emotions, let your love, tap into those emotions, because it feels like that's the key to pushing those back. And then like almost like bursting out of the gate, like getting out of the trap that you found yourself in. And it feels like a mental trap, right? Like a mental prison, like a mental bird cage. And it's like your heart wants to break free. Your heart wants to do more of what it loves, what it's passionate about. It wants to have that drive, it wants to feel things. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that was helpful to you. Please do take care of yourselves. Keep being the best version of yourself, and yeah, just be kind to other people around you and keep generating that good karma for yourself. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye, Leos.